Hey guys, RB the Garden Nanny. Today I wanted to share with you all how I put drip irrigation in my side yard. There's some areas where it's missing the drip. I hate to say this, but I lost a blue spruce, a globe blue spruce. I bought it at my wholesaler and it was quite expensive in my opinion. And for several years I never had to have drip around it. It was fine. It was healthy. And then I looked out one day and it was crispy. And I thought, this heat has destroyed my globe spruce. And so I lost it. I've had drip for about 4 or 5 years. So I'm not going to show you from start to finish because I couldn't do that. It's already in place. But there's areas in my garden where it still needs it, like I say, that side garden. I learned from Laura with Garden Answers. She did a friend's home, and it was so easy, in my opinion, to put together. Her and Aaron put it together, and they walked you through step by step. I've seen that she's upgraded her drip irrigation, but I still use that system. It ain't broke. I ain't trying to fix it. What's nice is you can set it on a timer, and it's like a crock pot. You set it and you forget it. When it's done, it goes off. And it's great when you're going on vacation. It's great when you just forget. And I have drip in my front yard and I have drip in my backyard. And I'll show you how I have it. I will just walk you through how I have it. I bought easy, simple timers. A lot of these things you can get right on Amazon. And I will also leave some links of where I got my stuff in the description box. I have a friend that I helped install it so that she would know how to do it. First thing I would tell people is if you're using a timer, in the spring, when you begin to check on your drip irrigation, take the battery out. Get a new one every time you start, because you would hate to be out of town and your battery goes bad because you've had it in there for 2 or 3 years and you haven't changed it. Now all of a sudden it's not working. It's not worth it to just leave a battery in. Every spring, take it out, throw it away. It's very inexpensive, but it's very expensive if you lose a lot of your plants. And then in the beginning of the year, turn it on, make sure there are no leaks, there's no shooting water somewhere, or, it's always something to look into. I don't take anything in the house in the winter or the fall but my timer. I unhook my timer, bring it in the house, turn my water off in the front and in the back and inside my house that leads outside. Those things are the things that I do to just make sure things are done for the season and put to bed. That is pretty much what I'm going to do today, is show you how I add drip to my side yard. I would say the biggest problem for me with drip irrigation is the water leakage. Putting the drip together, it's like working with PVC pipe, except it's a lot easier because PVC is not bendable. Tightening with this bad boy, it is not leaking like it was. So I'm happy about that. I am going to start at the front door with this drip irrigation. These 2 plants I do not have attached to drip. And why, you ask? Laziness. I definitely could have put this on drip. I just wanted to show you that my drip ring is over here. All I have to do is take one of these little plugs out and attach a drip ring from here to here to here. And I will never have to water these 2 again. Let's look at my drip. It's housed back here by the foundation of the house. This is my faucet, and I have a longer cord because sometimes when you have a big timer attached to this, it's too close to the ground. So this is going to be hard to put on, hard to keep attached, hard to stop dripping, and all of the things. So it's just best to have one of these attached to the wall faucet. For me, that works much better than trying to put my timer up against the wall. It's a pain. So I start with that. This long black hose, it has no holes in it. This goes around my entire foundation. If this had holes in it, water would be everywhere. So you want to put your tubing that has no holes in it up against the foundation, because this is where you start. This is your starting line. So I go all the way here, all the way around Priscilla, and all the way around here. Then when I'm ready to attach tubing with holes, I cut the black tubing right here, and then I add a T. I want it to go this way, and I also want it to go this way. Now you may see them in different colors, but pretty much if you see them with holes in it like this, this is where you want to start adding these to the areas where you want water. I have one going in a line all the way through, and then I have another one that's going off the T around the other way, so that all of this gets water. It's early morning. These will start waking up when the sun hits it. But as you see, the black tubing in the back, it has no holes in it. Now I can make holes if I wanted to put a ring around this hydrangea tree, but I don't want to do that. It doesn't need that much irrigation. But it goes all the way around. You can see the brown tubing. You can't see it under the plant here. As you can see, it's back there. It goes all the way around, all the way down, feeding from this one drip irrigation system. So it goes all the way through, and you can see it better over here. This is keeping the soil moist, and you see how far it goes. So there's the black tubing again up against the wall that has no holes, but these brown ones do. So it's feeding all of this stuff up in here. Then I have it extended. As you can see, I have another T, and I extended it here. It feeds right along it here, and if I had plants in here, these would be, you see where you see the spots? This is where the drip, that's where it's dropping. So where you see the spots, I could have plants all along here. I don't at the moment, but it's set up to do that. And right back here, it continues. I have a trench, and then it trenches. A trench goes all the way here, and then this is the black tubing that continues this way. Brown tubing is for the drip. Black tubing, no drip. Brown tubing all the way through. It feeds my roses, and it stops right here. Now, I think I'm going to continue. I'll show you how I will add drip from this point around these 3 roses, because they're not getting what these other ones are getting. See the difference? Big difference. And this is the side yard where I was saying I wanted to extend the drip. I had my globe blue spruce right there where that Caryopteris is, and it died. And then I have the planter that had the hydrangea right in the center. It died. I have a drip ring in it, but there's no drip nowhere near this area. You can see the brown tubing down there. So I have it in here. It just needs to be brought along here, around here. I think I'm gonna put it around this Caryopteris. I love this plant. And see about other areas that I need to work on. This area is being watered. These roses, this lilac is being watered. These roses over here are being watered. I stopped it right here and I put a clamp so it could stop. That is what it looks like in the front and on the side yard. This is an example of the black tubing being used to add water to pots. So I punched a hole in the tubing that does not have holes, added a 1/4 inch line with a circle drip into these pots. So now they have water. This one has water as well. This is an example of how to make a trench. So I cut my brown tubing, put a T in there. Then I put this black piping in here. It goes all the way down to here. And then I did a trench. So when I say I did a trench, I dug from here all the way to here. At one point when I did it, you were able to see the line of the trench where I made it. But over time, over years, the grass covers it up and you don't even know it's there. So this trench allows water to be sent to this island. Okay, so that's how these things are flourishing. That's how this pot is being watered. And like I say, the black tubing has no holes in it because you don't want water all the way through. But at one point, I wanted the water to start flowing. So I cut this part and then I put in the brown. This is where the water will start coming out. And so I have it going all the way around. I have it there. There's a T there to bring water into this pot. So like I say, it's fairly easy once you start doing it because it's just a matter of attaching everything like you would with a PVC pipe. This is just more bendable and more pliable. So this entire area is being watered with the drip. That's why it still looks good in October. All right, up here in the front, you see the black tubing that has no holes in it. I can make holes. So I made a hole right here and I put this small 1/4 inch piping which has no holes as well. I'm using it just as I'm using this black thick one. This is a half inch. This is a 1/4 inch. I'm using the 1/4 inch to come around here and water these plants. So this 1/4 inch is in the back. Okay. And then I added these. See, these have holes. I mean, like I say, I'll show you some examples of me doing it and you'll see what I'm talking about. But I'm just showing you where I'm watering. I'm watering this front area and then I'm using that same 1/4 inch to go across this walkway There's no tripping there because it's in the back. If these had holes in it, then water would be spewing all out, and you don't want that. So this has no holes in it. It goes across here, and then it feeds this bed. Now the only thing that I'm having it feed is these roses and these 2 containers. Zinnias, petunias, beautiful petunias in October. Look how pretty those are. I love them. But here it is, the black with no holes, the drip coming from the bottom there, going up into this. And these have holes. Okay, so that's what's feeding the water to this container. And it's also feeding it to this container from this point back here. I hope that makes sense. And like I said, I will give you examples. All right, now I'm gonna show you how I do the drip irrigation in the back. Here's the drip irrigation in the backyard. Remember I was telling you I used a smaller hose to start in my faucet. In the backyard, I did not do that. I just put the splitter in. So you can do it either way. Like I said, this faucet is down really low to the ground. So in order for me to do all these attachments, it's easier sometimes just to use this and then attach that to the bottom of this. However you want to do it. Yours may not be this low. It may be up high. It may be even lower than this. So just play around with it, see what works for you. This is the timer that I have in the back here. It's a very simple timer. I would recommend the simplest, the better, especially when you're new at putting in drip. This, I'm going to turn it off for right now. This is what it looks like at off. And you may have heard it click. You set the clock first. It's 8:28. My start time is at 7 a.m. You hit these little buttons to change how often for 15 minutes and every day, one day, every one day. So that's off, and then you put it on auto and it'll start at 7 a.m. for 15 minutes, then it'll turn off. So I love this. This is a backstopper, they call it, to keep the water from going inside, or dirt or whatever going inside your house. I just put it on because that's what they suggest. It's very easy. You just plop that on, put these on. Like I say, please look at Laura, the Garden Answers setup. If you have never done this before, she walks you step by step with a timer, with this thing, and then with all the different components. Yours is going to look different from mine, hers, and everybody else because your garden is different. This is the black tubing that goes all throughout the back garden. So here it is. You may see these little things right here. That's because when on this patio, I've had several pots, and now I don't have those pots anymore. So these are stoppers. They stop the water from coming out once you've made holes. Purchase that with your setup because you're gonna have that. So let's follow this black tube with no holes first throughout my backyard. This is how I set it up. So as you can see, it goes down and it's going all the way around. Okay, let's just leave it at that for now. I also have a T because I wanted this to come this way. So it depends on where you're leading your pipes. I wanted it to go this way and around here, and then I wanted it to come this way. So when it comes this way, you can see by these many holes in this black piping. But like I say, I don't want water just spewing out of it, because it will. If you have a hole and it doesn't have stoppers on it to stop the water from coming out, it will just spray all over the place. So I have this one going up into this pot. I have this one in this container. I have one going up into this container. So it just depends on how you want it. And some people, to eliminate a lot of the piping going over the pots, they will empty the pot out and put the pipe underneath the hole and let it come up and be contained very neatly. I may do that one day. I'm not there yet. I'm just happy that I'm not watering. To perfect it a little bit better later on, I may do that. But right now, I'm just showing you what I got. Real life. Alright, I am showing some of my materials that I'll be using for the drip irrigation. This is the tool that I use to make my holes in the black tubing that has no holes, of course. So I will show you that when I get out there in the side garden. These, of course, are the brown tubing that have the holes. You can see the holes on the bottom there, and you can make additional holes if you have one of these tools, but these come already with holes. I do have a bunch of this stuff, but I just pulled this much out right now in order for me to just get started. I may need more, I doubt it, but this is what I'm going to start with. And these are the ones that I put in containers, or I can just put it around a tree or a bush, something extra that needs extra water. This is just how I do it. So this is what I use, like I said, in the containers. Because I have nothing in that container in the side yard I showed you that had the hydrangea that died, I'm going to take the soil out and start the drip going from the bottom all the way up to the top. And I will use this. This has no holes, and these have holes. So I will show you that as I demonstrate it out on the side yard. I also have this toolbox, and in here I keep stuff like if I want to cut the tubing, I use this, and at the bottom I have my 1/2 inch. This is an elbow. I also have some straights, and then this one is very useful as well. The T can go this way, that way, or this way, and I will be showing you how I use that as well. Okay, these are the figure 8s to close off the pipe when you're done. If you don't want the water just spewing out, you will put this figure 8. I was talking about those goof plugs, but they come together like this, and you can just break one off and put it in a hole that is not being used on your black tubing. Okay, so if you made a hole and you used it for a container and you're no longer using that container anymore, but of course you still got the hole, you can plug it in with this goof plug, they call it, and that will stop the water from just spewing all over the place. I am in my side yard, and like I said the other day, I have drip right here. I'm going to cut into this drip and bring it all the way down this way to that caryopteris right there. I'm going to also bring it over to this area for the planter. So that's going to be a pretty long trench, but I need to do that in order to get water there. Alright, so I have my drip. I'm going to start right here. So I'm going to cut this and put in my tea. And it's going to go all the way down to keep going. You see how rocky this is? This is going to work still, but I probably should have put some water in here. But it goes all the way down, curves. Just a basic trench, not that deep. And then I'll stop it over here. Then I'll put a circle water drip around here. Now that I'm looking at this, maybe this as well. Then I'm going to put this pot, everything in that pot on this tarp and run my drip underneath the hole. I'm gonna open this up right here. There we go. First hole. I'm going to use a T. I'm going to use this T. Got to use some muscle to put that in. Probably the hardest part of the job. Whew. Alright, so that's ready. Going to attach this to this. And there you have it. It's now attached. Now I can run this piping all the way down. And I'll be using these. right, I have the T made there, and it continues all the way down. Continues all the way down, curves. And I can put another staple there, and then it curves here. I'm gonna cut it so I can go around this barberry. It's good that I used tubing with holes because this will keep this area moist for these other plants. Alright, so now you cannot see the tube. It is covered up. And kind of showing you where it is. And it's covered all the way to here. So like I said, I'm going to cut this part and put a ring around here. I'll show you how I'm doing it. Because I started with 1/2 inch tubing, I just continued with it. I could have used something smaller, but I have it. It was already cut, so I put that around this barberry. I'm going to put a hole in here. Take a little of this tubing that has no holes, go a little closer up in here and put this ring on that tubing. I'll show you in the end. Okay, I made a hole with this right here. Pop that in. Then I cut it, this long strip, this long pipe. I cut it here with this, and I attached a T to it. So now it's attached to a T, and this is a round emitter that has holes. So I'm gonna put it up in here in this coreopterist so that it can get drip. So that is finished. Down in there, that is attached, and that ring is around this coreopterist. So it should be watered as well as this barberry. Now I'm going to empty this container into this tarp and get the drip coming from underneath, just to make it a little neater, and since it's in the center. This is what I mean by maintenance. I didn't realize I had a sliced tube there, so I have to fix that. That is bad. So now that is fixed. Wonder how long that's been going on. I turned the water on so I could see if it was going into this container. Now that I know that it's going in the container, put the soil back in and the ring around it, and it is done. I'm going to use a T to attach this drip. Drip is dripping. Yay. Don't you love to see that? So now I have another problem. This one right here is doing too much squirting. So I'm going to have to cut that and put a straight in there so it won't be shooting up like this. Not right. This is the only thing that I did not do. It's gonna do a T here and wrap a brown hose around this entire thing so that it will get drip and start looking like these. Okay, I have a roll of this 1/2 inch emitter tubing. Put in a T. Okay. Apply the drip to the T. The T made right here, and I'm going all the way around like I said I was. I'm gonna have to put another T right here. Okay, there it is. And now I'm adding this hose to the T. Okay, it's in. I have put in the drip for this area. It's just a big loop, and the closer you can get to the plant with the drip, the better. I am going to go get my mallet, push down these garden staples because this ground is so hard. But yeah, I did 2 tees and did a big loop. I'm going to turn on the water in a minute and give this some water. But it looks pretty good. I'm excited to have that done. And that was definitely needed. I am done for the day. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. And I am so happy I got that done in the container. Got my trench done. And now things are going to get watered, and hopefully I won't be losing anything. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.